Musings of an Ikigai Scholar. Journey to Find Ikigai, Part 4. Writing is a quest for Ikigai. Do you enjoy writing? The reason why I ask is that you might already be a professional in the journey of finding Ikigai. We all learned to read and write when we were young. Although the languages and characters we use may differ, I believe that reading and writing are abilities that most of us have. Since I discussed reading in the previous episode, this time I'll focus on writing, particularly writing in Japanese, and share my musings. I've always wondered why or how Japanese language tends to express subtle differences and nuances. The term ikigai is written with both hiragana and kanji as ikigai as seen on the screen. This immediately raised the question in my mind. Why is this particular set of kanji is used instead of another choice that represents shellfish like a clam? And more importantly, what does the combination of those two characters represent? Upon investigation, I found that the expression includes the following meanings: value, effect, result, and outcome, commensurate with effort. It also implies reward for effort and action. Help and support. The word kaisho is often used to express dependability or qualities or abilities. A specific region called Kai no Kuni is also using this character, and it's the present day Yamanashi prefecture. Because of this, translating ikigai as life's purpose in English loses some of its other meanings, resulting in purpose in life. Hence, while the Ikigai Venn diagram is widely accepted by those who do not read Japanese, it is less appealing to those familiar with the language. This might be because they subconsciously recognize that the meaning of kai cannot be fully replaced by the word purpose. The English translation for kai that fit better are terms like value, effect, outcome, help, support, and reward, rather than just purpose. Therefore, ikigai can be translated as life's value, effect, outcome, reward, or help and support for our lives. No wonder it's challenging to create a definitive diagram for it. The interpretation of ikigai has a range and depth. This flexibility, richness, and a sense of inclusivity are part of the charm of the word and the concept it represents. The characters used in Japanese, especially kanji, possess a power that is not present in the alphabet. That's why recently I've been writing my blog in Japanese first, and then translating it into English. I used to do it the other way around, but I noticed that the expression and nuance of the final blog posts were totally different. When I translated a blog written in English into Japanese, it often felt lacking, and the expression seemed somewhat blunt. Since reversing the process, the content has been more aligned with what I want to express. As those who have studied Japanese know, kanji are made up of radicals and components, and they can be categorized into types such as pictographs, ideographs, phonetic compounds, and indicative characters. Among the 2136 common kanji, phonetic compounds and ideographs are predominant. They take up 61%, 26% respectively, and add them together, that's 87%. Therefore, writing kanji is akin to drawing pictures or simultaneously expressing images and pronunciations. I've started to mention a lot of complex terms and concepts. So let me provide some visual examples. If a picture can represent more than 1,000 words, how many meanings can a kanji represent? Kanji contains stories and narratives. Kanji characters such as mountain, lake, person, and life are simplified drawings representing scenes, objects, or actions, often with sounds or pronunciation. Therefore, kanji are not only characters, but also pictures, each carrying its own story. It's like a panel out of a comic strip. So, what stories do the characters for Ikigai hold? In the character Sei and Kai. The character Sei naturally mean birth and life. Originally, its pictographic form it represents the appearance of grass or plant sprouts growing and developing. The character Sei also conveys meanings related to being raw or unprocessed, signifying authenticity. In a person's lifetime, the character is used at various stages, from birth to death. Therefore, when expressing the character, say, in English, it's necessary to use different words depending on the context, such as life, to live, birth, raw, and genuine. Simply translating say as life does not fully convey the story and the narrative nuances that this single character holds. The character ko represents something that covers the outside, like a turtle's shell, which is hard and protective, thus symbolizing armor. In school, we learn the onyomi readings as ko and kan, and the kunyomi readings as tsume, kinoe, yoroi, and kabuto. The reading ka is not typically taught in an elementary school. Only the reading ko is introduced. So why is it that the kanji hi or aya, which means elegant, refined, or beautiful, is combined with ko to form the reading kai? And why does this combination come to mean words such as value, effect, and result? In Japanese, there are rule breakers called jukujikun, which are specific readings assigned to compound kanji words that do not follow a consistent rule, like kyo means today and ashita means tomorrow. So kai is yet another jukujikun, an irregular reading. The most plausible explanation for why kai is read as kai is that both ko and kai represent the hard shells. Additionally, in ancient times, shells were used as currency, and the kanji kai symbolize wealth, property, and things of value. This historical connection helps explain why kai comes to signify value and reward. And this is just my own speculation, but in today's Japan, if you write ikigai using the shellfish, people will imagine living shellfish or edible clams. Perhaps that's why the term ikigai is used instead. Personally, when I see ikigai, it makes me think of raw oysters. So, Ikigai does a much better job of expressing the Ikigai concept without causing misunderstandings. Homophones evoke word and image associations. There are other kanji, read as kai, as well, such as kai, meeting, kai, return, kai, open, kai, world, and so on. When I write kanji, I always enter a mode of association and tend to search for words with the same reading but different meanings, which is called homophones. I wonder if this also influences the way Japanese people think. For example, with the word omou, to think, there's also the alternative of omou, to imagine. The way I distinguish between these is based on the scene and stories that come to my mind when viewing the kanji. Omou, to think, can be visualized as a hurt in a rice field. So it's used for general thoughts or considerations in an open context. On the other hand, omou, to imagine, has a tree and an eye above the hurt. So it suggests for deeper, more specific thoughts and observations about things, people, and other topics. For example, you would use omou in a sentence like, I think it will be sunny tomorrow, and omou in a sentence like, I imagine the better future for children. In English, omou can be translated as think, believe, consider, or suppose, while omou might be translated as feel, imagine, or reflect. Like this, when I write in Japanese, vivid images often come to mind, and these images expand further through associations with homophones. Therefore, the feeling I get from writing ikigai in Japanese is quite different from writing ikigai using the alphabet. When I write ikigai, I don't get the same associations with beautiful shells, clams, or other kite sounding words and images. For those of you who can read and write Japanese, do you notice any differences in the impressions or feelings you get from ikigai versus ikigai? How was it? Did you get a sense of how Japanese is particularly well suited for conveying or explaining the concept of ikigai? You can certainly feel ikigai in any language. However, explaining the feeling or sense of ikigai in languages other than Japanese might require just a little bit more time and effort. Writing is a journey. Author Mieko Kamiya, known for her work on ikigai, kept a diary while writing her book Ikigai ni Tsuite and recorded her thoughts as follows. February 14th, 1960, Sunday. I wrote all day, but I didn't make much progress. I'm constantly thinking, researching, and writing. Sometimes I am overwhelmed by self loathing, wondering if there is any value in producing such mundane work. But I am only myself. I don't feel tired at all lately. It seems that a grandiose Einheitswillen, grand will for unity, to reconcile the past is overwhelming me these days. I want to pour everything I have accumulated in the past into this book and unify it. Whether I can overcome the chaos is uncertain. I am desperate. At any rate, the time and situation that allow me to write have finally come. quoted from Ikigai ni tsuite, page 311. Do you write regularly? If you keep a diary, I think you have a wonderful habit. By putting your thoughts and feelings into words, you naturally engage in a dialogue with yourself. This process can help you discover more of the ikigai you experience each day. Those who write because they want to, spontaneously and authentically, are already on a journey to find their ikigai. And those who deeply consider the narratives behind the written, chosen words are, in my opinion, already professionals in the quest for ikigai. This concludes my musings for today. Thank you for staying with me until the end.